Welcome back. This week, I'm going to be breaking down how I develop color negative film at home. So this is a pretty simple process. I think a lot of people are intimidated by it, but I don't think they really should have a reason to be intimidated by it. So what is color negative film? Color negative film is basically the most common type of film other than black and white that you're going to find readily available on the market today in 2020. So when you shoot it, it produces a negative, and then you take it and scan it or flip it in a darkroom to get the positive image that you captured. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is get your film canisters that you have shot through a camera that you are pretty sure is working. And the next thing is you're going to want to try to pull the leaders out of this. So you can get a leader retrieval tool, or what I opt to do is just take an old piece of film and slap some double-sided tape on it, and I find that works just as good, if not better, than the leader retrieval tools. So all you do is wiggle it into the canister through the light-proof seal and try to lodge it onto the film, and you'll feel once it gets stuck onto the film, and when you spin the canister, it should catch, and the fake leader that you just stuck in will pull, as you guys are seeing right now. Once you have your leaders pulled, you're going to want to grab your dark tank and your dark bag, or alternatively, I don't have a dark bag, so what I opt to do is just completely black out my room. I put these pillows in the window, I turn off all the lights, I unplug any electric things that may have little like power lights that flicker or something on them, i.e. like my scanner, and I have a plant light behind me. And the Christmas tree right now, because it's Christmas, have to unplug the Christmas tree, sorry. And then I go into this closet behind me and I close the curtain, which is just an extra layer, makes me feel extra dark in there. And I sit in the closet for 20 minutes and I ponder. Just kidding, I don't ponder. I attempt to load the film from the canisters onto a reel. Here is a bunch of just wrecked film that didn't turn out for me, so I'm using it as an example for how to load the reel. As you can see, you just kind of clip it in, and then it has a mechanism, so you turn one side and it pulls it through, and it keeps wrapping it around itself until it's fully on the reel. These reels work for 35 and 120 film. So next step is, once you have your dark tank loaded, you're going to want to take it to a source of water. So I just use the kitchen sink and I get a hot water bath going. This step would be a lot easier if you had an immersion circulator. If you don't know what an immersion circulator is, it's basically a thing. You stick it in a tub of water and it sucks the water through and heats it up and spits it out and just keeps the tub of water at a precise temperature. But basically what I do is I just heat up a water bath and I stick my chemicals in there. It's pretty easy to mix the chemical kits. You just literally take the powder and mix it with whatever amount of water it asks for. This one is a 1 liter chemical kit. So the first step you're going to want to do is get your water running at around 102 degrees Fahrenheit. What that is in Celsius, I don't know. Just check the other side of the thermometer. I'm Canadian, bro. The steps are in Fahrenheit, okay? It's not my fault. I'm not going to convert it. There's no point. So run it under running water for about a minute at 102 degrees Fahrenheit. And this just sort of lets the film become acclimatized to a new temperature that it's going to be working under. And if you don't do this, you'll probably shock the film. And this just cleans off all the crud on the film, I guess. Anyway, the next step, step 2, is your developer. So you're going to want to take this out of your hot water bath and check to make sure that it is at exactly 102 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the most important temperature to nail, is the developer. Anything else can be off a little bit, but the developer, you really want it to be at exactly 102 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're going to pour the developer into your dark tank and close the lid and just spin it for about 10 seconds right away, just to get all the film coated and starting the process, right? And then every 30 seconds, at 30-second intervals, you're going to want to do 4 inversion cycles. So every 30 seconds, you got to spin the can 4 times. After 3.5 minutes, you can pour the developer back into its container. I just use these San Pellegrino bottles because I didn't really want to shell out like $10 for a glass bottle. The chemical is not going to burn through the plastic. Plastic's not going to really be a big issue at all. So save yourself some bucks, go recycling, fishing, and find some bottles that fit the amount of fluid that you have. Anyway, after you've taken the developer out, you're going to want to put the Blix in. So the Blix is the bleach stop, so it stops the developing process from happening. This is the one pretty gnarly chemical. It smells horrible. It's definitely super toxic and really bad for you. You're definitely not going to want to touch this or inhale it. As you can see, I already opened the window before I started this process. So this one, the time is 6.5 minutes, and the exact same intervals for the inversion cycles. Every 30 seconds, you're going to want to do 4 spins of your tank. What I find with the Blix is that it actually produces an exothermic reaction. So what you're going to want to do is, my tank came with this little spinner thing, which does the same as the inversion, but it just spins the film on the reels inside the tank without having to close the lid. So I do that for the first couple of intervals, and then I'll close the lid, just because if you don't, you'll produce a lot of heat and maybe some gas, I think, and it pops the lid up. And if you're not careful, the lid will actually pop.
Oh, damn! Oh my
God. Nobody wants that. So after 6.5 minutes of the Blix wash, you're going to want to pour that back into your San Pellegrino bottles. So after you do the Blix, you're going to want to wash at between 95 and 105 degrees running water for 3 minutes. Just let it go. Just let it run. Clean up a little bit. Organize yourself. Once you've done the wash, once you've finished the wash, the next step is to just throw some stabilizer on it. This just helps preserve the negatives and makes so that you don't get any like hard water buildup, like calcium deposits on your negatives when you're trying to scan. It'd be really difficult. Water spots, you know, you take your dishes out of the clean dishwasher and there's a bunch of water spots all over them. This basically just allows that to not happen for your film so that it's easier to scan or enlarge, whatever you're doing. Pull it out, and I have a squeegee that my homie got me, and I squeegee the film and then I hang it to dry. It usually takes about 2 hours to dry, and you just let it sit there. Don't touch it. It's most susceptible to dust marks at this point, because it's still wet and the dust will attach to the wetness and just hang on for dear life. So it's best just to let it just hang out for 2 hours and avoid it like it's somebody who's annoying you. So I just hang the film on the curtain rod and I let it dry right here. It's pretty far away from any dust. I just let it sit and dry for probably like a couple hours really. And then we can scan it up. Flip the negatives and see what's on the frame. So up here, right here, this is what I'm talking about. If you're careful when you load it, see this one? There's like one start of the roll. You can see how it fades onto this. It's like a half frame, one whole frame, another whole frame, maybe just 1.5. I don't know. Compared to this one is missing. There's blank space where there could be negative. That's it. That's how you guys develop color negative film at home. As you can see, if I can do it, anybody else should be able to do it, you know? It's not a crazy, insane process. It's not super intimidating as some people may make it out to be. The chemicals are kind of gnarly, I'll give it that, but as long as you're being safe with them and not touching them a lot, like you're not going to want to wash your hands with the Blix, you should be a-okay and not have very many problems. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I think next week I'm going to show you how I scan this. So I have this beautiful scanner back here that my friend Marcus so graciously gifted to me a couple months ago. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a good week. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.